Hi everybody, it's Sally from Sally Stampers. Thank you for joining me today. Welcome back to part 2 of my Advent Calendar Drawer Tower. Hopefully you will have seen part 1 and this lovely Advent Calendar Drawer Tower, as I said. I made the first parts with you in my last video, which I still have here, that we did in Merry Mallow and Tranquil Tide. As you can see, they are all there ready. And so today I'm going to show you how to make the drawers and these cute little boxes on top, and then how to put it all together. The last video I did was far too long, so I'm going to crack on and show you how to do the second part now. So as I said, we've got these parts ready from last time. Still need to put them to one side at the moment because we do really need the drawers first. So I have a whole box of them here, ready, made up and numbered. Some of them aren't so great, but yeah, I've got them all here, as I say, ready, and they are the right way around this time, bar one. The first one I did, number 1, actually went wrong, and I stamped it upside down and got so cross with myself that I thought, right, concentrate now. So to start off with, we need, I'm just going to move my trimmer out of the way and bring my scoreboard in. So to start with, I'm going to be a little nuisance here and just switch this over as well. To start off with, we are going to use a piece of cardstock that is 4 by 4 3/8 of an inch. Now, sadly, I'm afraid I still haven't had chance to work out the centimetres, but I promise I will. I'm just so hectic and chasing my tail at the moment, so hopefully sooner rather than later I'll have the centimetres. But you can still do this on your trimmer, so if you do have a Stampin' Up trimmer, it's got the centimetres and inches on there, so you could still make the drawers. So for the actual drawer itself, which is this part here, we need a piece of cardstock that is 4 by 4 3/4, and we're simply going to score at 1/2 and 1 inch on all 4 sides. And notice I'm using my beautiful Take Your Pick tool again. Yes, I am. Do you know, I've had an amazing weekend away at a crafting retreat that my upline organised. It was absolutely fantastic, and I had an amazing time. On the Thursday, I was rushing around trying to pack stuff because I had work Friday morning and then I literally had to leave, so everything had to be packed Thursday night. I was looking everywhere for this. I even had my son looking for it. I showed him a photograph of it in the catalogue and I said, please help me find this, I want to take it with me. Well, we hunted high and low and we just couldn't find it, and in the end we realised that I'd actually already packed it in a pencil case. That's how stressed I was trying to get everything ready. Hopeless, isn't it? Right, so as you can see, I've literally scored at 1.5 and 1 inch on all 4 sides, so a nice little grid, and then we're simply just going to fold and burnish all of those score lines. I suppose the drawers are a little detailed. It did take me maybe an hour and a half rushing to get them made up, so you know, obviously with you following my instructions it may take you a little bit longer, and that's how long it took me to do 24, because obviously I'm doing the 25th one with you guys. So it does take a little bit of time. It might be worth doing it while you're watching TV, maybe one night cut all of it, the second night score it, third night cut it, you know, whatever your time limit is, but that's how I manage mine anyway. So you will notice that we have got a bit of an oblong shape here, sorry, a rectangle. Crikey, it's been a long weekend, or should I say an exhausting weekend. Amazing fun, and it's a nice exhausted, but yeah, my brain's a bit fried. So yeah, so you'll notice that we do have a rectangle here, and it's obviously slightly longer here. So on one of the short sides, on the 2 longest panels, the one nearest the centre one, we need to punch in the centre. So I'm using my 1/8 of an inch handheld punch, and I'm just sort of eyeballing it just to punch that hole there in the centre. Just easier to do it at this stage. And I'm then turning it so that my hole punch is to my left, and I'm going to cut down the 4 squares in each corner. So you now have these 2 tabs. The first one you're going to cut away completely. The second one you're going to cut halfway, so you've now got a step. Okay, Then turn it back towards you so that your punch hole's to your left, and we're going to take a wedge off there. We're going to cut this one square here into a tab, so we have 2 wedges there, and then we're going to cut a wedge off there. So that's what you should be left with. Okay, so I'm obviously going to do that 3 more times. So cut down the 4 squares, so you've got 2 flaps. We're going to cut the first 2 away, half of the next one, and then we literally cut 4 wedges. Okay, so again, oops, I'm going to do that again for you. So now my punched hole's to the right, so I'm going to cut down those 2. I'm actually going to do this as a wedge straight away, save me messing. Cut 2, cut 1, and then wedge the sides of the main pieces and your little tab there. So the last one, down the 2, cut away 2, cut away 1, and then wedge the sides. So you should be left with, when I get rid of all this rubbish, that shape. So you can see that we've got wedges taken out of there, wedges here, here and here, and then our little tabs here and here have also got wedges out of them. Now we need to stamp our numbers. Trust me, learn from my huge mistakes. Spin yours round so that your hole, your punched hole, is to the top, and this is how you actually, it does help you in regards to getting everything lined up. So I've got my memento, and I'm actually using Pick a Pennant because these numbers, where are they? There. These numbers are actually a really great size and they fit really nicely on here. There isn't a 0, you do have to use the O, so be mindful of that. I've already got my 25 on here. So, and I'm simply just putting it either side of that hole. And obviously if you wanted to emboss these in silver or gold or copper or whatever, then obviously that's entirely your choice. So that's that bit done. So the next bit now, we're going to turn it upside down and we're going to start adding some adhesive. So tear and tape is the best thing for this because it is quite sturdy, and we're putting it on the inside of the farthest, the outside ones, if that makes sense. So again, you've got your punched hole here, so you're going to have your inside sides, and these bits here where my thumbs are your outside sides, and that's where we're putting our adhesive. I know that doesn't make much sense, but it will in a moment. So just chuck my tear and tape on there. I don't know if you guys do this when you wrap Christmas presents and you have your sellotape hanging off the edge of a table. So if this was the edge of my table, I'd got tape all the way along. I was actually doing that with my tear and tape this morning, making up these boxes. So we've got our 4 pieces there. We then need 2 smaller pieces to go either side of your punched hole. So then you've got that. Okay, let me just zoom in a little bit because I feel like I'm a million miles away from the camera today. So we've now got our tear and tape on the outside edges and on here. Flip it over and you need to put some adhesive on these little tabs. Now it's entirely up to you which you use, whether you use some tear and tape or whether you go with wet glue. You can use whichever. Again, just using a little bit of tear and tape, it is a little bit quicker, dependent on how many you're making, and this would potentially be a job for another night because you wouldn't be able to do it all in one night unless you stayed up till silly o'clock. Okay, so that's all my adhesive on. So my 4 tabs are got adhesive on with the same side as my stamped numbers, and then this side has got it all with 2 extra pieces next to the punched hole. So I now need some lovely Whisper White sheer ribbon. You really don't need a massive amount of this. I mean that's probably going to be too much anyway. Fold it in half and then from the outside, so where your numbers are, you're just going to feed it through that punched hole. And you want to leave enough just so that you've got enough for your handle. Now for me that's a little bit too long, so I'm just going to trim some off. And then I just need to replace my piercing tool. And then I'm going to take the backing off here, and I'm going to put that side of my sheer ribbon on it, and this side will have this piece on. So you've just got your little loop left there, and then you take this piece off and that folds over the top to keep that ribbon secure. And then we're going to do exactly the same the other end, so the opposite end to where you've put the ribbon, we can fold that over too. So next up is taking the adhesive off the tabs, and you can do all four at the same time. And then we're simply going to make this up into a box, as it were. So we're just folding those tabs in and adhering them to the sides. And then we're just going to take our backing off these two pieces and fold them inside. Okay. And there is your draw bit made. So I'll pop that to one side because now I need to do what I call the wrap of it. So again, this piece here, and it's obviously very simple. So I'm actually going to use my trimmer to score this one. So let's move out of that. Sorry, yeah, my trimmer to score, if I said that. So you now need a piece of cardstock that is 2 7/16 by 5 11/16. Awkward measurements, I know. And we're going to score on the long side. Let's move that cutting blade. We're going to score at 1 1/4 inch, 1 13/16, 3 7/8, and 4 3/8. And that's it for that one. And that's obviously why I needed my trimmer, because I was scoring smaller measurements. And then we're just going to fold and burnish those score lines there. Oops. And obviously if you were going to decorate this as just a little table favour, then you'd add your DSP and stuff to the top now. Obviously I'm not. So tear and tape along one edge, and I am going right up to that edge. And then simply take the backing off of that one, fold that excess bit over there, oops, and then I'm just going to literally put the flat part on the top of my box, fold it over, and the adhesive bit goes on the bottom, and then this just folds over, and you just make sure that that card is lined up across the bottom. And there it is. There's your little drawer that you could have as a favour or by itself. I actually made these for my swaps for this weekend and just put one of those mini Ritter Sports in. You can add whatever you like. So we've now got a whole box of these, and we need our tier, shall we say. I'm going to rest it there so that it doesn't fall down. So all I simply need to do now is slide these in. I don't want the same numbers together, so there we go. So number 6, and then I'm just alternating the colours, so 25 and 18, and this is where I now found that nothing fits. No, there we go. So that's my top tier done. Second one, then I'm going to alternate, so 19, 24, oh, I don't know, 23, 11, 2, and again, so now I'm starting with red, so we'll go 20, 5, 8, 23, 14. So there's my 3 done already, and then we're just going to do these last ones. So 3, 16, 13, 22, no, I don't know, 21, where's the rest of them? Let's just tip these last few out. Get rid of that. So what have we got here? 15 and 12. And when I was stamping the numbers on these, I actually alternated the colours into a pile, so I literally went red, green, red, green, red, green all the way, and then literally stamped 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1 was red, 2 was green, 3 was red, 4 was green, and went on that way, just so that I knew that I wouldn't have the same colour and the same numbers next to each other. And I've messed up here, haven't I? Let's try this way round, because I need to be red, green, red, green, red, green. Ooh, just lost that one on the floor, sorry dog. Red, green. So, right. Oh heavens, now I've got... How frustrating. Take that one out. Wait, no, wait a minute, that's right. Greens. Reds. Oops. Try again. This is what happens when you don't plan this part. So I need a green one this end. There we go, this has worked now. Number 3 can go in there. And then, oh no, I've still, how's that happened? Oh no, no, we're all good, we're all good. I've sorted this out now. There we go, we've done it. Yay! Right, so now I have all of my drawers in my tower. So pop the bottom one flat, the next one up, tip away from you, and you're simply going to roll tear and tape all the way across the bottom. And I only did 2 strips of this, and then simply take the backing off, both pieces, because it does help, otherwise it doesn't adhere. And then again I'm keeping this upright, and I'm just really lining these edges up with the middles of these boxes and just eyeballing it. Probably I would line it up more so with the ribbon, because that's pretty much central, and then just give them a press, because now we've got the drawers inside, it gives you some stability. So that's that one done. Next one, again you've guessed it, tip away from you, run tear and tape across, and we just repeat this until we get to the top. Super simple, this bit. Oh, and I didn't put my phone on silent. How silly was I? Sorry guys, let me just put this on silent so it doesn't go off anymore. I always do that, and yet I completely forgot today. That's just typical, isn't it? Right. So again, exactly the same, pop it down, line it up. And the reason I'm doing this is because obviously now the back is flat on the desk anyway, so I don't have to line the front up. Second row, tear and tape across. And while I'm here, I'm actually going to do this top one as well. Just roll it across there. And then, as I said, same as before, just take the backings off, line it up, And my last one is exactly the same. And hey presto, there is your advent calendar tier box. So all you need to do is decorate it. Obviously you could change the ribbons here for a different colour if you wanted to keep it all in. So just to decorate the top, it's really simple. So on my previous one I had some of the beautiful satin mixed ribbon. I'm now using my ultimate favourite, the reversible Merry Mallow and Copper. And I'm just making my bow the size I want. So let me pull that out a little bit. So I'm quite happy with that. So that is going to trail, it's not going to trail, it's going to twist, isn't it? But hey, I can deal with that. So cut that about there. And then I just simply used a glue dot to stick him on. And I'm hoping that he'll behave and sit nicely. But it doesn't look like he wants to. Although heavens above. This is something that obviously you'll need to sit and play with. Because one side's decided to sit nicely and then the other side moves. Anyway, so obviously once you've got your ribbon sitting nicely across the top, you then need to add your present. So I have 3 that I've made up here already, and I'll show you simply how to make them. You simply need a piece of the cardstock, the DSP, either A, that coordinates, or B, if you want to do something different. I'm just going to grab my tool here because it's my scoring tool because it's quicker. And all you simply do is a sheet of DSP that is 4 inches by 4.5 inches. This is the 4.5 side. It really doesn't matter because you're simply going to score every inch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, rotate 90 degrees and score 1, 2 and 3. And that's it. So you're just literally doing a grid of 1 inch squares. Obviously we then fold and burnish them all. So fold and burnish these ones. And then we obviously just need to cut some bits away. So keep the skinny bit here to your right, and we're going to cut away the bottom corner. We're then simply going to cut up 1 square, or 1 inch if you like, of the bottom ones. So you've got your bottom flaps, and then turning it round so that your flaps are now at the top, we're going to cut down 2 inches of the same score lines, which means our thin one on the left here, we're going to cut away 2 inches of. Okay, so we now have this. So for the side nearest you with the tab, we're literally going to cut away roughly 1.5. So I'm cutting away the top square and half of the second one and creating wedges. I'm going to tuck that underneath and cut away the whole of those 2. I'm going to repeat what I did here on the next one, so 1.5 away and cut wedges. And the last one, I'm simply taking a very thin slip off and a couple of thin wedges. So you are left with this shape. We're going to add a little bit of snail on here, on the little tab, and close those up. And then as this is the back, I'm going to fold these side ones in the back and then put a little bit of adhesive on the front, and then simply close my little box up. So I have a little 1 inch cube. And then all I need to do is add some ribbon. So single glue dot onto the top, my white shimmer ribbon, half on the glue dot, wrapped round to catch that glue dot. Trim it, whoops, excuse me, and then I'm simply making a bow. If you're happy to tie the bow around the box, then by all means do that, but I'm seriously rubbish at it, so I'm not going to. And then I'm just going to make a little teeny weeny bow to sit on the top, which I did with another glue dot over the join. And there's my little box. And then I simply used glue dots to adhere these to the top of my advent calendar. Ooh, stick. You might have to take the drawer out and put your finger inside. And that one. Just make sure your glue dots stick, because sometimes they don't. But as I say, ooh, crumbs, squeezing that one too tight. But obviously you can make them and decorate them with whichever products and whichever style you want. And my last one, come on, just sits on there. And then I just pop my drawers back in. No, don't sit wonky. Oh, come on, get in, thank you. Drawers back in, and there is your finished one with the lovely Merry Mallow and Tranquil Tide. And here's my original lemon lime twist with Poppy Parade. I do hope that you like them. I hope that it's given you some inspiration. And I hope you managed to create some. Please send me some photos of the ones you've made, because I do love receiving them and I love to see what other people have done and what colours and designs they've come up with, so please send them to me. Hope you all have a great day, and I shall see you all again soon. Bye!